Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Mark Comfort and my wife, Mimi. I own Cruise Holidays. You know what? I'm going to take these sunglasses off because I can't even see the screen. They're polarized. And my friend Abe Hughes with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. We thank you for registering and being on this webinar. All right. This is going to be a very informational webinar. We've got a lot to share with you. And right before we got started, Abe and I were having quite a discussion on um, the adjectives and words to use about being politically correct when it comes to the CDC and the no sale order and all of that. I think I'll be less politically correct tonight, and Abe, I'll let you be politically correct. But the good news is cruising is coming back, and we want our audience, we want our wonderful clients, 32 years of selling ocean cruises. We want, people love Royal Caribbean. Our clients love Royal Caribbean. I know Naomi Wilson loves Royal Caribbean, and so do so many others that are on tonight. So, Abe, as you and I both know, just about a week and a half ago or something like that, a big gigantic email came out, said adventure is back.
Yeah,
Adventure
absolutely.
is back. Adventure is ready to go. Well, what it boiled down to is and I'll just be real honest with everybody. This has been so frustrating for all of us in the industry of tourism, all of us who make a living, and it's billions of dollars of um, of dollars of revenue for people all over the world, but in the United States of America, especially all the people associated with the cruise industry. And when you think about it, guys, think about everybody that gets involved with helping you when you go to the pier to check in on a ship, whether it's the people that take your bags or the people that get you checked in, the people that are helping you to your room. It's everybody, and all those people spend money, and all those people are being paid wages in the United States of America, or so many of them. Then the ripple effect is even more. So with that said, the CDC has not been the cruise industry's friend, to say the least, not at all. And they have not been very uh, warm about even giving these ocean cruise lines an opportunity to prove they can keep the consumer safe. And Abe and all of the representatives that call on us have gone through all of these opportunities, all these changes, all these improvements, all these evolution of how the cruise industry is the safest it's ever been and how it's going to keep you safe. So we're going to talk about that tonight, but I'm so excited. So again, a week and a half ago, Royal Caribbean said, in essence, I'm paraphrasing. I put, these are my words, not theirs. Abe wants to keep his job, if you get what I'm saying. So they said, hey, enough is enough, CDC. If you're not going to let us cruise out of America, then you know what, we can cruise out of some other places that are foreign countries close to America, such as the Bahamas, such as Bermuda with Celebrity. It's St. Martin's. There's a lot of other options available in Europe. The Greek islands are open to Americans. Many countries are. And so Royal Caribbean is going to go out of Cyprus to cruise to the Greek islands. And that's starting this summer in June through August. So now, a lot of things that we're going to talk to you about with policies and things like that today. We're going to show you and tell you about the new itineraries that Royal Caribbean has. Remember, when it comes to policies, the one thing Mimi and I and our staff and Abe with Royal Caribbean has seen, policies will change. Policies will be updated. And gosh, you guys, I don't think there's ever been more important time ever for you to be doing business with somebody like us that can keep up with all these policies, because there's a lot of things you have to know, and a lot of things that will be changing. A lot of things are changing right now. A lot of things will be changing even more in the next several weeks and months ahead. But with that said, Abe, I think it's great when first of all, welcome, by the way, to our, it was going to be a little bit more of the Royal Caribbean group, but it's right now Royal Caribbean Cruise Line webinar.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And thanks for losing the sunglasses right away. I thought we were going to wear these the entire time, but that's okay. I'll take mine off as well. And it's great that we're able to talk about this because, over the last really over a year now, we are at 13 months essentially since the cruise lines had voluntarily stopped sailing due to the pandemic. There has been so many different phases of of getting back into service. And there has been, so many various phases, but you can almost say that these phases themselves were various shades of gray. And they tended to sort of blend into each other, one to one to one. And if you were to look back a year ago to where we are today, one may say, well, you haven't sailed the entire time, but others would also look at it and say, look at how far we've come. And that's essentially where we're at today here in the middle of April and moving forward to this summer and beyond. And to talk a little bit about the CDC as the cruise lines themselves, we've worked very closely over the years with the CDC and all the way up until this point in order to make sure that our ships are the healthiest possible for our guests. It's 100% true. Many people that have sailed before, you all know that the health and safety standards on board a cruise ship is far greater than any other travel in the travel sector, to the point of even the reporting aspect of how many people may have the stomach bug on board the ship. No resort, no theme park, nowhere in the world outside of the cruise industry marks every single case that might be there. So we take health and safety, and we always have as a paramount. And what you've seen over the last, really the last couple of months or month or so, there's been a lot of action that's been taken. And that's where CLIA, and they are the organization that represents all of the cruise lines. And then there's ASTA, which is the Association of Travel Agents, and in the 100,000 plus travel agents that are in the United States. The labor unions that you aforementioned, those that carry the luggage and tie up the ships and so on and so forth. And then there's the political figures, the mayor of Miami, the governor of Florida, the representatives and senators in Alaska. They've taken a little bit more of a political approach that you've seen. But over the last month or so, what we've really seen is a little bit, and I'm using the words of our president and CEO, Michael. He said there's a concentrated, a coordinated, but also very polite push to the CDC in order to say, hey, we are an industry that not only employs hundreds of thousands of people, but we're also Americans. We have Americans that sail on board our ships. We're an American company. We have such a big impact. And as things begin to open up, it's sort of raising our hand saying, hey, don't forget about the cruise industry, because we are part of this as well. And as things move forward, especially over to the summer, and the current administration saying, hey, by July 4th, we want all systems go in the US to be opened up. Well, especially in South Florida, especially in areas such as Alaska, and just overall, well, when there's tens of thousands of people that are employed in an industry, we need to be included in that. So that's sort of what you're seeing over the last month or so, and we're excited. We're excited about that. And we have taken opportunities to take some of our ships and place them into areas of the United or of North America, essentially, that are accessible to our North American guests to sail. And a lot of the countries that we are sailing to, the Bahamas, Bermuda, other Caribbean islands that are really, I mean, they've been devastated by this pandemic because their country, not just not just a small section of their country, but their country, the primary, the breadwinners, if you will, it's the travel and tourism industry, and cruising is such a big part of that. So there's a lot of the governments in the islands and really around the world that are wanting us to come back and welcoming us back. So we've taken that opportunity to offer up of our ships into various ports of call, which we'll talk about in just a second. But really, our goal itself is to obviously get sailing back out of North America and the ports here as soon as the 4th of July. I mean, I want to spend the 4th of July on a ship. That's sort of my goal along the way. And really, before we dive into the cruising and what is currently available and moving forward in the future, there is actually something that your clients can do, and I'd like to share. We didn't even talk about this beforehand, But if you were to go to cruising.org, and this is anybody that's out there watching, if you go to cruising.org, there is a page there, and it's an action page, and you yourself can select, and it's a pre-populated, pre-written email and all you have to do is put in your information, your address, and it will automatically send over a pre-populated note to your representative or your senator or wherever the agency is saying, hey, please, on behalf of myself, my family, etc., we would like to, ask for consideration to be back to sailing, and every little bit helps. As a matter of fact, they started this I want to say about 2 weeks ago. There's been over 100,000 messages that have been sent, and you could do what I did. You can do the pre-populated one, or you can actually do what I did and clear out the pre-populated one, and I typed my own personal message. As a resident of the state of Missouri, it's hey, did you know that although cruising is typically on the coast, you have employees of a cruise line right here in your home state. So you can do that if you wish. It's cruising.org, and there's an action page, and it's super simple. You can do it in less than 30 seconds, or you could, like I said, type something personal. But so that's a little bit about sort of where we're at. But at the end of the day, with all the action that's taken place over the last month or so, Mark, it's great that everything is moving in the right direction. It's moving in
Yep.
the right direction to getting us back to sailing. And well, you know me, you and I will probably be on the same ship together, the first one that we could possibly go to. So it's great to see. It's great to talk about, and I'm just happy that we're here today.
Well, to your point, yes, it's been a long, slow process, but back to cruising.org, please do that. Please go in and take 30 seconds. It's my belief. I've written customized letters before and emails to my congressman, to the CDC, and I tend to be a believer that if you don't donate a lot of money to a congressman, you're probably not going to hear anything outside of, hey, thanks. We'll take your request and get it to Senator so and so. By the way, would you like to donate to his reelection campaign? So, anyway, with that said, Abe, a lot of things are happening, and I do like what's going on. Let's get right into this right now with the theme of what we started out. Adventure is back. I mean, how cool is this? So Royal Caribbean said, hey, CDC, if you're not going to give us a chance, we're just going to go somewhere else. They went to the Bahamas, first of all, and Bermuda, secondly, and we'll talk about this, Cyprus in the Mediterranean, third. But let's talk about the adventure of the seas, Abe. I think this will be what so many people in our part of the country are going to be interested in. Talk a little bit about what the itinerary will be, and also about the air program that we've got going on through Royal Caribbean.
Absolutely. So I just shared my screen, and I hope you can you see that up there, Mark? All right, sounds good. So
Okay.
I did put together a presentation. So to stay in order of the presentation, I thought we'll cover the itineraries in a second, but I think the first slide itself is talking a little bit about our health and safety standards themselves. But yes, Adventure is back starting this June, and we're super excited. We're truly excited for everybody out there that's open for sale. We'll talk about the itineraries in just one second, but many people want to know the steps that we're taking when it comes to our health and safety protocols. Various areas of it. Number one, and probably the primary, simply because what we know of coronavirus and how it gets spread and so on and so forth. 100% fresh filtered air. The HVAC systems themselves are very uniquely designed on cruise ships. That's different than casinos and hotels and what you would standardly see on land. And to give a pretty decent analogy on this, cruise ships, and if you would like to Google how a cruise ship is made, it's pretty amazing. But, and Mark, feel free to chime in at any point if you have any further questions or want to talk about anything that I'm going to be talking about. But cruise ships themselves are almost built like Lego. Where they're block by block, piece by piece, and from every public space all the way down to the staterooms themselves, every one of them has its own independent airflow and supply, which I'll talk about in a second. So it's really just continuous intake of fresh ocean air filtered on all public spaces and all areas on the ship and your staterooms and so on and so forth. Medical grade cleaning supplies. I mean, this is something that we've always used, but we're even going to up our game even further. We've upgraded our medical facilities with our expert care teams on board, more doctors, more nurses, the upgraded facilities, plus the care practices themselves. And that's everything that we've learned over the last year and then some. And then the other part that I think is probably what most people have in mind, and that is a safe, timely return home in any scenario. We've partnered with the local authorities in the various parts of the globe, really to make sure that the transportation for protocols for you and your family will get you home safely in a timely manner. We all know what happened last year with the one cruise ship that got stuck, and it was a bit of a mess. But there's a lot that we've also learned about that, and working with our Healthy Sail panel and the various government agencies, it's basically making sure that you are not going to be hindered in those ways. And just to touch on that just a little bit further, Mark, Royal Caribbean, what people don't really realize, although we're talking as Americans about our return to cruise in June, Royal Caribbean has actually been sailing since last July, or the Royal Caribbean Group, I should say. We own various cruise lines, Celebrity Cruises, Silver Sea, Hapag Lloyd, TUI Cruises, which is a German cruise line. And so far to date, we have sailed over 100,000 passengers on board our ships. Now, have there been positive cases on board? Yes, there have. You don't hear about them because they're not newsworthy. There's actually been, I think, about 10, plus or minus 10. But what it is with these positive cases, we're able to essentially take all the protocols and prove that they work, leaving literally zero hindrance upon any other guest that's out there. So it's that timely return home, making sure that in any scenario, our guests are well taken care of. A couple other little infographics that we have about, our staterooms, which is your home away from home, the clean linens, the fresh filtered air. There is I've got two screens, so if I'm looking off the screen a little bit, I want to see what I have written. The EPA certified cleaning agents, daily distance service, really just to keep that physical distancing away. Our daily planners, and we've gone digital in so many areas and using technology and what we know. Having so much of our cruise compasses and ways to conveniently access information through smartphones and whatnot. We've completely reimagined our muster drill, which I know if you've ever been on a cruise, you think, well, that's the only time that I'm ever within 6 feet of another human being on the ship. Well, we've completely reimagined it. And that's something that we had taken steps even before the pandemic. It's something that we were planning anyway, but this just happens to speed up the process. It's called e-mustering. And essentially, when you board the ship, you have a period of about 4 hours before the ship sails to watch a safety video and to physically go to your emergency station and check in there, where there will be a staff member that will be able to answer any safety questions that you may have regarding the safety protocols. You'll confirm that you know where to go in an emergency. You know the information, you've watched the video, and that's it. It's super convenient. It's wonderful. We've even tested it back, it would have been January of 2020. We'd been beta testing this already, but now it's going to be rolled out, or it has been rolled out so far. When it comes to room service and welcome amenities, we're just going to make sure that your home away from home is all set. And then I think the most important part really is that fresh filtered air. There was a study that was done by the University of Nebraska. I will give a shout out to my home state there, University of Nebraska, as well as, and I wrote it down because I always get this one wrong, the National Strategic Research Institute. Okay, you can basically breathe easy. There's a robust system that the transmission of aerosol particles between spaces, like those that, like when you cough, it's extremely low to virtually impossible. Because of our HVAC system taking in 100% fresh ocean air on one side of the ship and expelling it on the other side of the ship, the HVAC system on all of our ships, they have multiple layers of filtration. It includes, of course, all of those MERV 13 filters that we know are the ones that work. It branches throughout the entire ship, and making sure that essentially all of the airflow and the air change, it allows, in the way that the ships are designed and built, that it will allow up to 12 air changes in an hour in a particular stateroom. So essentially every 5 minutes, every particle of air that's in your stateroom has completely been changed, and that's directly in from the ocean and out that way. And then when it comes to public areas and public venues, that's actually 15 to 20 times per hour. And that frequency itself is actually twice of what is recommended for land-based public venues. And that's according to the, oh, I had this one written down as well, the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers. That is a mouthful right there, Mark. But just know that you have this amazing technology that we're utilizing on all of our ships to make sure that you have that fresh filtered air, and every protocol and every process itself is going to be there for your health and safety. And as we continue moving forward, we know more. Our protocols will continue to advance and continue to change in really a very pragmatic and scientific way, just using what we know moving forward. So exciting things to see. And let's talk about fun ships. How do you say, Mark?
I, I think that's good. You know, I'm really glad you spent the time doing that. There's people like myself that I'm just a very believing, trusting guy. I know Royal Caribbean and all these cruise lines are going to do everything in their power to keep everybody safe. But then I've got a son-in-law that's an engineer. He wants to see every slide that you talked about up there. And so this is good that we're telling people about this. I think this is very, very good. The other thing I want everybody to know, you probably guessed already, Mr. Abe Hughes is very, very well spoken. Well, he does know what he's talking about, especially on board the ships, as he was a cruise manager, cruise director for 13 years with Royal Caribbean out at sea on all these wonderful ships and to some of the wonderful destinations that you're now going to hear about. So you're getting a guy that has firsthand experience. So even though he said he was from Nebraska originally and he might bleed that Cornhusker red, he is a cruise guy through and through. So Abe, I like this. Let's talk about this and get into the details. And if you will, because the perfect day at Coco Cay, your private island, is a central part of the new destination. I want to spend as much time as you can with that itinerary, that destination, because that's going to be the highlight, I think, to 90% of the people that'll be on both this experience out of Nassau, Bahamas, and your vision of the seas that will be out of King's Wharf in Bermuda. So let's talk about it now, please.
Absolutely. So, and I know that people are watching this right now. You've probably sailed on board our ships 100 times. I know we have Diamond and Diamond Plus members that are on this. So, you know our product. You know the Royal Caribbean brand. You know the fact that we are the leader in multi-generational travel. 18 consecutive years of not just the best cruise line in the Caribbean, but the best cruise line overall. And so when it comes to our product and our ships, no matter what ship that you sail on, it's, I don't want to say, yeah, okay, fine. Guaranteed you're going to have an amazing time. Put the Abe Hughes stamp of approval on that one. Boom. But I tell you, the ships that we have launching in this initial phase and rollout, they're some of my favorite ships to sail on. Adventure of the Seas, for example, sailing from Nassau in the Bahamas, starting this June, and it's going to go all the way through September. And the Itinerary is what is catching everybody's attention. Looking at the itinerary itself, you're going to be boarding the ship in Nassau in the Bahamas. Then on days 2 and day 3, you have 2 days, you will be at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. That is our private island in the Caribbean. It is a reimagined private island. We've been going in there since 1988. However, in 2019, there was a significant investment that was made into this little sandbar in the Bahamas. A dock was built, so our ships no longer had to tender. We invested a lot into not just the beach amenities around the way, but also put a massive water park right there on the island. The picture that you see is Daredevil's Tower. It's the tallest water slide in North America. In total, in the Thrill Water Park, there are 20 some odd water slides. There's the largest wave pool in the Bahamas and actually in the Caribbean. There's the largest freshwater swimming pool in all of the Caribbean. There are just a robust amount of thrills that you and your families can enjoy. And one of the other sides of Perfect Day at Coco Cay is the chill. We always say you can either chill or you can thrill. Well, the thrill side is the water park and the fun in the sun and just splashing around and enjoying. And then there's the chill side, relaxing on the beach, enjoying the complimentary umbrellas and beach chairs. It's essentially an extension of the ship. And this being our private island, essentially you could use it as a bubble. So as the same protocols are being used on board our ships, it's also being rolled out to those that are on the island, and it's essentially keeping that bubble. So not only do you have one day, but you have two unbelievable days at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. You got a beautiful, relaxing day at sea. Cozumel, Mexico, which has always been a crowd favorite out there in cruising. Another day at sea back to Grand Bahama Island, which is the most people know the port as Freeport. So again, another beautiful day out in the Bahamian beaches and enjoying. And this 7-day cruise itself is remarkable, and that's sailing from Nassau there in the Bahamas. Turning the page a bit, we have our sailings that are going back to Bermuda and sailing in and out of Bermuda. Now, this ship is going to be Vision of the Seas. It's our Vision class ship, one of our smaller, quote unquote, smaller ships in the fleet, but beautiful. And the Vision class ships are very well known in our fleet for our cruising destinations and our relaxing itineraries, especially spending those days at sea. There's so many of these ships that do those transatlantic sailings back and forth. And for any diehard cruiser, you know that this quaint boutique type cruise ship is perfect for sailing and perfect for cruising. The itinerary itself is phenomenal. You will be sailing out of Bermuda, and for anyone that's not been to Bermuda, it is one of the best kept secrets or best kept islands. And if you just look at Bermuda on the map, it's out there. And if you look at it on the map, you realize why there's not many cruises that go there, because it's not really part of the Caribbean. It's hanging out there off the coast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, a few hundred miles. But Bermuda itself is just I don't think this term exists, but I always called this the Hawaii of the Atlantic. It's that volcanic pink sand beaches, just absolutely beautiful. And the Vision is going to be sailing, from Kings Wharf, Bermuda, having a day at sea, and then Grand Bahama Island. They have it as a technical stop, and basically what this is when nobody's going to be getting off of the ship. It'll probably be late at night. You won't even know that we were there, but it's when the captain stops off to fill up with fuel and pick up a lottery ticket. Essentially, that's what that technical stop would be. And then it goes to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, again, enjoying the chills and the thrills of the island. A couple more days cruising at night back to Bermuda. And from Bermuda, you're going to have a full day and overnight into the next day, where you can go out and enjoy and essentially use the ship sort of as a hotel. So on Vision of the Seas, you're going to have that quaint feel of a smaller ship, that boutique type of service. The level of service on board the ships themselves are phenomenal. Our crew are going to be welcoming everybody back with open arms. And of course, enjoying the great entertainment and a whole lot more on board the ships. Then, turning the page just a little bit further, we have ourselves Jewel of the Seas. Now, Jewel is not only going to be available for anyone, any American citizen wanting to cruise, but it is going to be a great European option. And when it comes to the itinerary for Jewel, it is, talk about a bucket list. Okay,
Mhm.
it's going to be sailing in and out of Cyprus. And number one, some of you might be going, where the heck is Cyprus? Where exactly is that? Look it up on the map, but essentially it's a tiny little island sort of around those Greek Isles in the Eastern Mediterranean. Some of
Mhm.
you might be thinking, how do you get to Cyprus? Don't worry, there's a lot of airlift and a lot of airfare that's coming in and out of there. But and just as an FYI, this is a big destination. Cyprus is a big vacation destination for UK citizens. So the most people and the easiest connection. Unfortunately, there's no direct flights from Kansas City to Cyprus. Mark, if you can work on that, that would be great. But most of us would be connecting in England and then jumping down to Cyprus to sail. But this itinerary, oh my gosh, Rhodes, Mykonos, Athens, Santorini, Crete, a day at sea, and back to Cyprus. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Jewel of the Seas is one of our Radiance class ships. These ships are affectionately known as the ships of light. There's more glass on a Radiance class ship than any other cruise ship that's out there. Not only in your staterooms with a balcony stateroom, but really any public space on board a Radiance class ship all have floor to ceiling glass looking out onto the nature that surrounds and the beauty of the earth that surrounds. Even in the center of the ship, there's a 9-story atrium that has outward facing glass elevators. So even when you're in the elevator, you look out upon the Greek Isles. It is beautiful. So those are available to everyone. Those are going to be sailing from this July through October. A couple other itineraries of note, and I know obviously we have our Caribbean cruising, and we have all the just because our names is Royal Caribbean, we go everywhere. But a couple of other special mentions to talk about. The Grandeur of the Seas is going to be sailing from Barbados. And they have various options, 7-night and even 14-night ultimate Caribbean islands, going to new destinations as well, going into the down islands such as St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Vincent, Grenada, as well as Trinidad and Tobago, which is, again, islands. Some of these you might have to look up on an island on Google Maps, but Trinidad and Tobago, and really getting very, very far south. Trinidad and Tobago is just a stone's throw away from South America and Venezuela. So beautiful itineraries there. There's the Caribbean Adventure going to the ABCs, as we call them, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, even into Grenada. And then the ultimate Caribbean is fantastic as well. There's only a couple of those sailings going to St. Vincent, Grenada, Curacao, Bonaire, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Aruba, Tobago, Trinidad. Wowza, wowza, wowza. So there is a lot there. And that's a ship that every single day is a port of call. There's not even a day at sea. So great things there. And Mark, this is a curveball. I just threw this in because the deployment opened today. But we also have new adventures from Los Angeles, which is great. So if you wanted to go west instead of east, we are sending the beautiful amplified Navigator of the Seas sailing from Los Angeles starting as early as this November. Sailing to Catalina Island, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas, Ensenada. So there's a variety of 3, 4, 5, and 7-day itineraries on board Navigator of the Seas as well. And I think I have a couple more slides left. Actually, I think I have one more slide that I just wanted to throw in there. This is for all of our Crown and Anchor members, and then we can dive into more, Mark. But we have double loyalty points happening right now. You book by June 30th, and any sailing all the way through September 30th of 2022, you're going to receive double points. And when it comes to the loyalty program, our loyal members, they love their points, and this is the best way to get to that next step. If you're an Emerald member wanting to get to Platinum, Platinum to Diamond, Diamond Plus to Diamond to Diamond Plus, Diamond Plus to Pinnacle, we're going to have to come up with new creative tiers. Aluminum foil is another. No, I'm just joking. That's not a tier level there, but it's a great spot to a great chance and opportunity to earn all of those points. So, but I think we don't need to keep this slide up there. Let's get Mark and I's beautiful faces just a little bit larger on the screen. But I think one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, honestly, and everybody watching this, you already have a connection to Cruise Holidays, perhaps live. But if you're watching this back, there is no better time to use a travel advisor, to use Cruise Holidays. The amount of information that I just blabbered on there is going to be more information tomorrow and the following day and the next week and the next month. And I've got a direct line to Mark and Mimi and to the entire team. And as I get information, I share it with them. And as they get information, they share it with you. Because the last thing that you want to do when planning your vacation is to scour the internet and try and find things. And the number of times that you get a question of somebody that said something on a message board, it's like, go straight to the source. And instead of calling 800 numbers that you would see, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but even if you were to call Royal Caribbean and get an 800 number, I call 816-741-7417 on a regular basis, and on the second ring, I get, "Hi Abe, how are you today?"
Hi,
It's
Abe. How are you?
yeah. So it's that personalized service. We've said it before. I'll say it again. You're not going to pay anymore. The 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 specials that Cruise Holidays has available through the Travel Leaders Network, the consortia that Mark and Mimi and this company is part of, buying power. Oh my gosh! If you want to get a special, contact them about 2022 Alaska. Hello, specials. There's a lot more of that, but I'm just saying. Mimi and I had a conversation last or 2 weeks ago about how she saved every one of the clients about six or $700 per person on an Alaska sailing from what was available elsewhere. So the service and the level of service that you get out of Cruise Holidays is second to none. And as Forrest Gump would say, that's all I got to say about that.
Hey, that was good. I like that. Um, I'll tell you what, in our 32 years, Abe, I don't think there's ever been a time more that it's more important for the consumer, the decision they make, who they're going to plan their next vacation with. And one of the reasons why is because policies are changing literally, it seems like daily, if not weekly or monthly. A lot of them are COVID policies, yes, but nonetheless, they're policies. Some are vendor policies, some are country policies,
Mhm.
including the United States of America. And there's all of these issues that, you know what, you don't want to get it wrong. If you get it wrong, it's going to be incredibly costly to you. So let us help plan the perfect vacation and keep you abreast of all the policy changes. Seriously, Abe and I talked about this before. What we're going to talk to you about tonight with the policies that Royal Caribbean has right now for these cruises coming up in June and the summer could very, very easily change with so many more people getting vaccinated, not just in the United States, but all over the world. By the way, on that very note, Mimi and I got our second vaccine today, so we're in that group of vaccinated, and I think that's great. And by the way, if I can say this to you, keep your vaccination card, and if you can, I'd even laminate it. It's very likely that you will need to have that when you go on almost any vacation, almost anywhere in the world. We're finding out about that literally daily and weekly from different countries. But Abe, could we talk a little bit about at least what the current policies are with the Royal Caribbean right now, understanding that they could very easily change and probably will change in a few months?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. There were, and I will use this as an example. In Royal Caribbean, we have not gone out on record and say this is everything that's going to be happening and blah 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 blah, because things change. There was another one or two companies in the industry that I believe last July, last August, something like that, they came out with this big campaign, and this is what we're going to do, and this and this and this and this and this and this. That's all changed. It's 100% all changed because the uh, the advancements that have been made through vaccines and through technology and through what we know and the medical experts and really approaching things in that very scientific and that very pragmatic way. Things have absolutely changed. So staying in touch with your team, Mark, is very important. As Royal Caribbean, we've made a commitment to all of our guests that essentially 30 days prior to the sailing, you'll know everything. We're not going to change anything, in that last minute sort of thing. So talking just a little bit about, obviously we had our health and safety standards that we talked about a little bit earlier, but those sailings that are sailing out of the Bahamas, out of Bermuda, and out of Cyprus. Those three itineraries, those are itineraries that we are asking all of our guests over the age of 18 to have a vaccine. And that is a little bit more in the lines of working with the governments that are allowing and welcoming all of our guests on board to the islands. They need to look out, obviously, for their citizens and whatnot. And it would be somewhat irresponsible for them to say, yeah, anybody, come on in, come on down, et cetera, et cetera. So we've worked very closely with their governments to say, hey, we will thank you for letting us in. In that peace of mind, we'll ask all of our guests over 18 to have a vaccine. Under the age of 18 would be a negative test upon arrival. So that's essentially the idea. But also, to your point, when it comes to the changes, so when the US government was requiring anybody entering the country to have a negative COVID test within 72 hours of entering, of course, Royal Caribbean says, no problem. We will do those tests. We'll have everything in line. We'll get everybody that negative, result, anything and everything that you need to enter back into the United States. Well, what just happened? I think last week they then said, okay, now you don't need to have that. So that changes, and if it changes again, we will again react to that. So there's various segments of those, policies and whatnot that will change and alter as we move forward. And I think moving forward, there's going to be a little bit of a different approach. People are asking, well, what about, I have a cruise booked for this November. Do I need to have a vaccine? It sails out of Miami. What is the case? And the honest response is we have not, and there is no decision based on that yet. We will, of course, let you know as soon as we know. But I think there's going to be a little bit of a different approach when it comes to the vaccines, either be vaccinated or have that negative test and things like that. I think there's going to be a little bit more of that approach, but that's just me saying that. Don't put me on record. Don't go on Cruise Critic and blah, 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 blah. But but I think there will be that. But that type of information is, again, why you should be using a travel partner, because you don't want to be found searching the internet and getting misinformation leading up to your vacation.
And Abe, if I can interject, holy cow, the amount of misinformation out there. We have clients every day calling us saying, hey, I read this. Is that right? And we say, no, it was right when you book this, but it's not right now. Now, doesn't mean that might change even before they travel. So again, it's just so very important. Hey, let's do this, Abe. The other thing I think is really important, and let's just hit this head on. I think 2021 will still be a year of, and I'm going to put an asterisk on this, but I think it's going to be, there are deals. There are going to be some deals. There's going to be some great pricing. Availability is of interest to me and of interest to most people in 2021, because we don't know yet what percentage of capacity, maximum capacity, Royal Caribbean or any of the cruise lines will be allowed to have or will be deciding to have. I don't know whose decision that is, but if they follow the all-inclusive world, where right now all-inclusive resorts are, they started out at 30% maximum capacity. They proved they could keep guests safe, and now it's up to 60%. And I hear pretty quick it'll be up to 75%. MSC and several other ocean cruises that were going on around the world, they had 25 to 30% maximum capacity. So the capacity is going to be a big deal, but nonetheless, there's not the demand now that there will be in 2022. Abe, you know this, we just talked to you. My goodness gracious, our business in the last 60 days, 90 days has been absolutely phenomenal. That pent up demand that everybody was talking about, that you all heard about, that probably every one of you that are watching right now has. You want to go somewhere, you want to be on a cruise ship, you want to go on a wonderful, well-earned and well-deserved vacation. And that is going to be something that is going to be, I believe, a challenge in a very short period of time, especially in the peak seasons and the popular destinations. 2022 is filling up so rapidly. And it's my strongest counsel, if you're thinking about your vacation in 2022, I would urge you to be planning that right now, and I mean that sincerely. There's so many travel with confidence programs like Royal Caribbean has. You know, we have the cancel for any reason insurance through our providers. There's so many ways to be as risk-free as possible. But if you don't, believe me, let's be crystal clear. Royal Caribbean and every cruise line out there and every vacation option out there is a for-profit company, and they will be wanting to make up some of their losses as quickly as they can. And as it's, you know, supply and demand, as availability goes down, prices go up. And I think you better be aware of that. Also, Abe, you know this is true. We've talked about this. People want the biggest and the best accommodations. They feel like, hey, listen, if I need to spend a little time in my cabin, I'd rather have a suite. And if I
Yeah.
want a social distance, I'd rather have a suite. I'd rather have you know, some of the better accommodations. And so understand that is the way it's going to be. We're already seeing this. The people that are booking for next year, they're booking for longer vacations. They're booking better accommodations, great destinations, and Royal Caribbean has all that. In fact, you've got as many. If people want a social distance, we can find some great cabins for you on board any one of those Royal Caribbean ships. But I just, don't you think that's true, Abe? 2021, maybe there's going to be some deals out there, maybe not, probably so. 2022, going to be a different story, isn't it?
Yes, and I do agree with that. 2021 even is very, very strong when it comes to bookings because we have so many people that missed out on their last year's vacation and they booked essentially a year out and so on and so forth. But I think one part to touch on really um, is not just the availability, but you mentioned the stateroom categories. Of course, the balcony staterooms and suites, they're the first to book up. They're the first to go. The prices do go up as the availability does go down. Will we be sailing with a reduced capacity to start out with? Yes, we will. We didn't put a specific number on it because if it jumps from 1 percentage point here or there, we don't want to kick off a family of 3 because they had a baby on the between the time that they booked and not. But looking at, I know we talked about obviously this summer for cruising, and many of you are looking for that summer vacation, absolutely. But also look at when you would naturally be looking to book a vacation. Yes, the school year is starting to come to wind down this year, but you're also getting school schedules and when the spring breaks are for the following year and so on, and when breaks are and when holidays are. And so people, especially here in the Midwest, we don't live in Florida and we don't to plan on going on a cruise this weekend. We plan out 6 months, 7 months, 8, 12 months in advance. So really looking at that and when you would naturally be booking your vacation, start having that conversation because 2022 is going to be a remarkable year for cruising, not just for the pent up demand. Those that are getting in early, I mean, you can use the stock price as an example. If you're booking a cruise right now, you're buying low and the availability is there. And you actually see that especially with Alaska. I mentioned earlier with the space that Cruise Holidays has blocked at the price that they have it blocked is at one set price, and as the prices have been going up as they have, there's significant savings by essentially booking the staterooms that Cruise Holidays already has blocked out for you. So there's that aspect of things. People that had a cruise cancel in the past, the majority honestly had opted for what we called a bonus future cruise certificate, where they would, instead of 100%, they would get 125%. So they already have 25% more that they're playing with. So suddenly their ocean view staterooms have now turned to balcony staterooms, and those that were in a balcony are now booking suites. So the demand is definitely there. I had another point in my head which has completely escaped me.
I'm I'm there. I'll give you a little chance to think through that while you while you're. I call that. I'm a little older than you, Abe, so we call that senior moments. You can call that whatever you like. But hey,
Sophomore moment.
sophomore moments. Listen, We have literally just what Abe was saying. Our parent company, that's Travel Leaders, we have over 2,000 cruises with Royal Caribbean that we have something special for you, either better pricing or added values. Over 2,000. Think about that. Before the pandemic, Travel Leaders was a $23 billion organization made up of 5,500 travel agencies all over the world, primarily the United States and Canada. But Abe, while you're thinking about it, I do want to tell this too about the values. The very first day your Jewel of the Seas opened on out of that Cyprus spectacular itinerary to the Greek islands, and I've been to Cyprus. I loved Cyprus. I see why so many Europeans, especially English people, United Kingdom people go there. It is just spectacular, and also say history as well as great beaches.
Oh,
But
big
first day, it opened up April 7th. Deb Mitchell, one of our great sales people we call counselors, sold a cabin, a suite to one of her clients. And the comment was, I've been looking to go to the Greek islands for years. This is the best price I've ever seen. And the air prices were phenomenal. So
Yeah,
let's think one
speaking
step.
of air, and I know right now somebody is watching this right now and they have a tab open and they're searching on American Airlines to see what a flight to the Bahamas is or see what a flight to Bermuda is. Stop doing that. The reason why is Royal Caribbean has secured airlift into the Bermuda, into the Bahamas, into Barbados, into Cyprus. We've secured airfare at a very, 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 very competitive rate where if you're looking at a flight to Nassau and you're going, it's going to cost us $700 round trip to get there. Oh my gosh, we can't afford. That's going to be more than the cruise. Stop. We have our airfare that is secured. So just contact the team there at Cruise Holidays, and through our Air to Sea program, it's phenomenal. And don't let that deter you. That's all I'd like to say about that.
Yeah, and by the way, if you have points or something like that, we can most certainly work with you. And the last thing I want to say to everybody here is there's another cruise line that came out that is going to do very similar to some of the things that Royal Caribbean, the leader of getting things started back again. They've got some policies that are a little unique right now that they're working on, but I just, without saying who that is, let me say if you're mom and dad, grandma and grandpa want to take family, and if your kids are under 18, call us, let us walk you through why Royal Caribbean is the right answer for you for that, because you'll be happy to hear that. And hey, Abe, I have a trivia question for you. You know, you traveled the high seas for 13 years. What's the most popular tour you probably didn't go to this island very often, on that Grand Bahamian island, the Grand Bahamas island? It's
Oh,
the new hot thing.
yeah, well, it's yeah, definitely a hot thing, and it honestly, I think it blew up because of social media and Instagram, because you truly have not been to the Bahamas unless you have swam with the pigs. Am
You
I
got it.
correct on that one?
You got it. I knew I couldn't get you. And by the way, it is so funny. I've swam with the sharks. I've swam with stingrays. The new thing is swimming with pigs. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, growing up in Nebraska, that's the pigs up there are the last thing that you want to be swimming around with. They're
You know, Abe, this is so exciting. There's been a long enough wait. You and I want to keep the mood of this webinar friendly and fun, but the real reality is we've all waited too long. This has been too long, and it's the product is your product especially. You've been so good at sharing all these new safety protocols that Royal Caribbean has, and you've partnered with some of the best leading experts in the country and the world to make sure the product is safe. We're confident it is. I'd like to, you and I were laughing about this earlier, but I hope I can beat you on the first trial cruise. I hope they invite me. But if they do, I'll see if Vicky Freed will allow you to go as as our guest. So, and will you do the same with me if you're invited first before us?
Ab- Absolutely. We'll leave Mimi at home and just you and I'll go. We'll
Oh,
hit up
there
the
you go.
we'll hit up the casino and start making up some of these profits that we've lost over the last year.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to do that because I gambled enough opening this business 32 years ago with Mimi. You know what? And Abe, honestly, we had a lot of people ask how we're doing, and it's been a tough year, but we're financially sound. We're going to make it through it, and there's going to be fewer competitors, and our business is going to come back stronger than ever, just like it did after September 11th of 2001. I know Royal Caribbean. We follow you guys. We have stock. We bought the Royal Caribbean Group stock,
Good
and that
man.
was a great investment, by the way, on our part. My point very simply is we know who are the profitable companies that are going to make it through this and that will be stronger after we get out of this than before we went in it even. And that's what we will be. That's what you will be. We've still kept, about 75% of our staff, and they are there. Abe, you call on us, you train our staff. They're the most caring, knowledgeable, and experienced people, I think, if not in the Midwest, in the entire country, as far as the desire to help plan our customers, our clients' vacation and match them up with what's best for them. I think that's what we do better than anybody. If Royal Caribbean is not right for you, we won't sell you Royal Caribbean. If they are right for you, we will. And, you've got a couple sister companies with Celebrity Cruises and Silver Seas, the upscale luxury line. And that's why you have it, because a lot of times, people evolve, right, is what they want. Maybe many times, Mimi and I will go on Silver Seas, but our kids will go on Royal Caribbean or Celebrity, and that's kind of the way it is.
And if you do have your clients that are used to sailing that luxury product, the Silver Sea line and so on and so forth, but they want to take their family and their kids and their grandkids, that's where our Royal Suite class comes into play, because we do have those ultra luxury accommodations on board our ships that are able to cater to that higher end client. It's called our Royal Suite class. Just look up Star Class. It's basically, it puts butler service to shame with our Royal Genie. But this Royal Suite class experience, but you're able to experience the upscale, but also have something for every generation. And that's where Royal Caribbean is always, we've found, not just our niche, but that is our DNA in providing that experience to every generation of passenger, whether you are traveling with kids and grandkids or on your own, small ships to big ships, Caribbean destinations to, overnights in Iceland. We can take you anywhere and everywhere. And the team there, your team, Mark, and just, I know you had mentioned it, but I will confirm they're just so professional in every way, and it's always appreciative and a pleasure to work with your team, and we're just excited that we've come very far over the last year, and now that we are getting back a little bit closer and closer and closer. I mean, at the end of the day, we're no longer waiting for when we're going to be coming back. We're back. Um, we've already carried 100,000 plus passengers. The industry has sailed over 300,000 passengers in this last really almost year, throughout Europe, throughout Asia, throughout the Caribbean and more. And we're just excited for these next couple of months where we as Americans can come back and sail as well. So thanks for having me, Mark. I really appreciate it, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, we're down to the last couple minutes. We promised everybody an hour, and we'll keep to that. But I do want to have an opportunity to ask you all we want to earn your business. We're rebuilding our business back. We want to earn your business, and we will do exactly that, as we have for 32 years. We had a tough first year when we got started, a tough last year. In 2020, we're going to come back better than ever. But my counsel to you is make your plans as soon as you can. You'll be glad you did, because there is that pent up demand. One last thing about Royal Caribbean. Boy, you are right, Abe. You do family travel or multi-generational travel, meaning Royal Caribbean, better than anybody. And we know that for a fact, because Mimi and I have taken as we've been on with our moms and dads as three generations. We are now planning to take our grandkids as well as kids. I don't know, maybe we'll leave our kids at home and just take the grandkids, but Mimi says yes to that.
That
But
that is a very, very popular thing that has become even more popular. I'm
No, I'll tell you what, let's go with that because you know what? The other thing we're seeing, aunts are taking their nieces or nephews. Uncles are taking their uncles are taking their nephews. It's so doggone cool to see that. And I love it. Solo travelers are traveling because they're wanting to get out and see the world. The reality is, let us help match you up with the right vacation for what you're looking for. That's what we do, whether it's ocean cruises, river cruises, or all-inclusive vacations. But since tonight is Royal Caribbean night, and Mr. Abe Hughes, Abe's such a great guy. He has helped our staff learn so much about the safety protocols, about all the policies, about everything, the new itineraries, the perfect day at Coco Cay. Abe, I get the feeling that you're trying to say this about over with, right?
Hey, we gotta start dreaming. Continue on.
I agree. Keep dreaming, keep vacationing. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Abe, thank you for joining us. This is Mark Comfort. Give us a call tomorrow, 816-741-7417, and we will be happy and honored to work with you to find the perfect vacation. And by the way, I will be interviewing Mr. Abe Hughes. For those people that didn't watch this webinar, he will be on my radio Vacation Views show, which is on from 10 to 11 a.m. every Saturday on 710 KCMO. So KCMO. So there's a shameless plug for that. Abe, thanks again for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time.